Okay, we are finally ready to actually build the application. So let me go and do a bit of a cleanup. We're going to close all of these tabs that we have. And let's just keep the one that has the actual application. And I'm going to make this smaller. Okay, let's bring this here. And let's go and take a look at, well, let's clean this up. The app actually needs to run. Clear pm dev. So this is running, there's nothing in it. And I want to go to the index.html, and even though we could build the entire application inside the JavaScript, for now my preference is to create the layout directly in HTML, and we'll incrementally make our way to a point that almost all of the application is going to be built in JavaScript. But right now I'm going to use HTML to lay out the elements that I want. And given that I installed Tailwind CSS, I can style the application right from HTML by assigning various utility classes. So then on that point, let's get rid of this div with ID app. And I'm going to go start by maybe right here on the body, give it a class. I'll give it a background, a BG, a stone 100. So this is going to be just a tad darker than white. So it's a very sort of a, well, stone is a shade of a gray, and 100 is a very light shade of a gray. If I wanted to change this to 900, you would see this is a lot darker. This is a 500, right? And so this is 100. Okay, good. Now I'm going to go and add a header and a footer and even a navigation section. So these are all semantic elements in HTML5, the latest version of HTML, and it kind of helps the browser or various like screen readers, and even just as developers, when we look at the code, we could just like create a div for every one of them. But these semantic assignments help us to better understand the purpose and structure of different sections of the page. So let's go and work with the header. I'm gonna give this a class, and let's go maybe start by giving it let me put something in it so we can see what happens. So let's give it a h1, a heading 1, and let's just say to do. So that's a to do, and we gotta actually change this to like 100% zoom, so it's very tiny up there, and I'm gonna work on it and I'll see what will happen when I work on it. So maybe class, and let's give it something like text 7 times extra large. Now it's much larger, right? Let's give it like a nice rose color. There we go. And let's use sans serif font, and I'm gonna go here, give it a padding on the y-axis of 4 units of spacing. I'm gonna give it a margin at the top, another 5 unit, and I'm gonna make the text to be centered, and maybe I'll change the weight of the font a little. Let's put some tildes in there, make it look a little nicer. And if we sort of like open it, it kind of looks like this. I think this is gonna serve the purpose as much as we want. Let me see how it looks like in terms of, okay, that's the boundary of it. I can maybe give it a, right, that's about right. I don't think we need to add anything more to it. Okay. So let us go and work with the footer. I can maybe add 2 divs to it. I want to sort of provide some sort of like guidelines. We start with something simple like click to complete a to do. And let's also say double click to edit a to do. Okay. Now we can go and give this a class, and Let's make it flex. So when you flex it, it sort of arranges everything in a row. Let's do flex column so they kind of fall under one another. But now that I have a flex, I can do justify center and do like items center. Okay, you can give like some margin to the top, make the text extra small. Let's also gray it out a little and make the font extra light. Okay, let's open this up a little. All right, that's about what I want. Let's go to the navigation. In the navigation, I want to add 3 links. So this is the first one, second one, and third one. And I'll explain to you how these links are gonna work, but I want to use them to filter between the different to-dos. So let's say I want to show like all the to-dos, or the one that are like active, like not completed, and the one that are completed. Okay, so let's give this some class. Let's say flex. Then we're gonna say items center. You're gonna say justify center. This is sort of like vertically and horizontally is gonna justify it. Give it some padding and also give it some space between the elements. Okay. Now when somebody like clicks on this, what I want to happen is, so generally you use an anchor element to like go to a different page. So you do href and like maybe you go to a different page in your own app, or you go to a different page entirely on a different application. So you would put a link in here. If you want to go to a part of a page, then you can do like hashtag, and that hashtag will help you to like jump to different sections of the same page. So that's something like a trick that you can use to go to like different sections. Like if you have a text, you can go to different headings, for example. One of the ways also you can use this is to use it by adding something. Like when you put a hashtag, it basically gets appended to the top, to the URL, and you can use that as a way of like filtering or showing something, hiding something. So I'm gonna use, well, for all I can just keep it empty. For the active and completed, I can do like active, and here I can say completed. So now if you go and like click on it, you see like it might be too small for you to see it. Well, let me like click on active, and I'll just copy this here in the code, show you how it looks like. So this is what you're gonna see in the URL when you click on active. And then later in the app, you're gonna see that we can either use this as a way of filtering into the app. We can also like select these, give them an ID, and add an event listener to it. So there are a few different ways that we can go about like detecting the state of, oh, somebody is intending to filter the to-dos. But anyways, I'm gonna roll with this for now. Let's go and let's give a bit of a styling here. So say by default we selected all, and I want to go like put an underline under it, and I kind of did, but it's very small. So maybe let's put an offset on it to make it, to give it like a bit more distance, like make it a little further away from the text. Let's give it a color decoration. Let's go with the same color as the heading, and let's maybe make it more prominent. Decoration, oh, say 2. So this is now more prominent. Let's give this a bit of a padding too. Okay, and so let's zoom out. Maybe I zoom in just a little so you see this better. So that's the state that we have the application at the moment. I think this looks good for this stage. we're gonna wrap it up as the very basic layout of the app that has like the header, the footer, and the navigation. And then in the next video, we're gonna be building like the main component where we actually like write and display the to-dos.